I'm Becky and I'm a project manager on the railway, and I'm here this weekend to learn about the volunteering opportunities on the Bluebell Railway. So my first job of today is to clean out some locos in the loco shed, and it's already freezing cold out here, so I'm assuming it's going to be pretty cold in there too. How important would you say volunteers are to the Bluebell Railway?
Quite simple, really simple. If there weren't any volunteers, there wouldn't be a Bluebell Railway. It is as simple as that.
Without volunteers, you couldn't actually financially run it.
You couldn't run it, no.
Do any of your friends volunteer? Are you
Loads of my friends, most of my friends all volunteer up here. They also volunteer at other railways, but we all met here.
Volunteering here, I've been about 23 years now. Started off when I was 11 years old and never left.
If anyone was thinking of volunteering and they're thinking, I need to do some volunteering but I don't know what to do it in, what would you say to them to do if they're thinking of coming here?
It's not just, you don't just volunteer in loco, there's signals, there's station staff, there's customer services, there's working directly with the public, there's museum,
infrastructure.
Infrastructure, so, the building of the tracks, maintaining the carriage and wagon workshops.
It's a massive
loads
spectrum
of jobs.
I work as a project manager on what people at the Bluebell Railway would call the big railway. In my job, I ensure that the projects I work on run to programme and to budget. The company I work for encourages its staff to get involved in voluntary work, and many more companies are now seeing the benefits. This brings many advantages not only for the organisations that receive the voluntary help, but also the individuals undertaking it, and this is something I shall explore as part of my visit to the Bluebell Railway. I arranged to speak with my boss, Matt Bain, to discuss the benefits of encouraging his employees to undertake voluntary work.
We provide our staff with 5 charity days per year. They can use these to support any charity that they like, as long as it's registered. We see a lot of benefits, not only to the charities that we support, but also to the individual themselves.
So what are we going to do now?
Well, I'm going to empty this out on the ash pile.
Yes.
This is the stuff I emptied out from the smoke box this morning.
So that's all from yesterday then?
Yeah. I emptied it out a little bit, but...
Yeah, not as much as you'd...
No, not as much as I'd want at 6 in the morning.
What happens to all of... Is this all waste then, this stuff?
Yeah.
What are we going to get now?
Just getting lamps and discs.
Oh, lamps and discs.
Yeah.
What are discs?
Discs are these things here.
And what are they used
for?
for?
Route indicators. It shows the route the engine's going on.
Okay.
So you've got specific places you put them on the engine.
Yeah.
It means different things. I've been coming down here since I was 9.
So it is actually your birthday today, isn't it?
Yeah.
How old are you?
Today's my 17th
Your
birthday.
17th birthday. And it's obviously quite early in the morning, and you've probably started a little bit before we did.
Yeah.
Why do you do it?
And if you want to put your one, you might not be able to
I will let
reach.
you do that.
It's a bit of fun, really.
Yeah?
Yeah, you can't really get it anywhere else. It's hard to explain why we do it, but it's quite a rewarding hobby, so...
It took me 13 years to become a driver. You start off as a cleaner, you get trained up, work through the grades to fireman. I spent about 7 years as a fireman and eventually had my time to take my test and pass.
Is a dream to be a driver?
Probably not for Laurie, no.
It might be his dream.
It might be his dream, it might be reality. No, he's getting there. He's doing good.
It's probably the best job is, though, to be a fireman there. That's the more funner side of it.
Firing is more enjoyable.
Firing is more fun, yeah.
I've done more firing turns than I have driving turns. It's much more fun.
Now we're getting the lamps.
Yeah. If it stays foggy, we have to use the rules say you've got to use lamps instead of discs.
Oh, it's like a fog light, for example. Like
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
the rule book says if it's in fog or falling snow, then you've got to use lamps which are lit.
So would you normally get lamps out?
Yeah, you always have
Or
lamps
is it just
in the
because it's foggy
engine
that you've got lamps
in case anything happens. So if it gets dark or whatever, you get stuck out, then...
Yeah, oh, fair enough.
Well, before I take them back to the engine, I'm just going to check them. They've got paraffin in them. Yeah, so you can kind of see the paraffin in there.
Yeah.
It's a bit low, but it'll be alright.
Do you check that one
I'll check
as
that
well?
one. Because just thinking if it is foggy, then we will need it, so... That
Looks
one.
like that's filled.
Yeah, that
well,
one's
it looks
alright.
filled.
So when you're going up the line, you'll have two lamps on the front.
Yeah.
And when you're running round a light engine, you'll have one on each end.
Okay.
But this is this is gauge class lamp, so
Okay.
it lights up the water when it's dark.
So do you have to work yourself up to get to those driving jobs and to the fireman jobs, or can you start off straight away with those ones?
No, you have to start. You have to start off as a cleaner and you work your way up from there.
What are the ranks? So cleaner first.
Quite simply, cleaner, fireman, and driver.
Do you just keep these in the cab for now then?
Yeah.
So has this helped you in the engineering industry
So-
you're in?
When I first came down here, I was always looking to try and do something at the weekends.
Yeah.
So decided to start volunteering here. So I'm a cleaner here, so a cleaner that's done his rules, so I'm sort of on the way to becoming a fireman.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we heard all about the hierarchy of the cleaner, then the fireman, and then the driver after that.
So I'm currently being trained to be a fireman.
And then the
But
aim
still
is
a clean-
after that to be a
A
driver.
yeah.
So I'm dipping the old rags in a combination of oil and paraffin, which have been used to clean the engines previous days.
Yeah.
And then just putting it in the firebox and a bit of wood on the fire that's already in there.
So obviously these rags, like you were saying, were used to clean the engines
Yeah,
beforehand,
they
so
would
it's
have
not
been.
like you're using new clean rags to do it.
Well, yeah, they're either old rags or they're rags which will be no good for clean engines, going to scratch your paintwork.
Yeah,
So I'm still putting them to use.
definitely. And so how often do you have to put like more wood on there?
So when you're lighting up, you put wood all over the grate,
Okay.
all throughout the firebox. And then once you light up, you occasionally need more wood to keep it going.
Okay. Okay, so how long have you been doing this for?
I've been coming down here since I was 9.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Have you only ever wanted to do sort of like this kind of the volunteering jobs that involve the like the steam engines
Yeah.
specifically? So nothing
Yeah.
else. You've not tried anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I've been brought up around steam engines, so it's sort of in the blood now.
Oh, so because your dad works, he's a driver, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah. And I started off in the club they got for kids down here when I was 9, and coming down with my dad, the supervision.
Yeah.
And then when I turned 16, I joined the cleaners roster.
Yeah.
Which basically allowed me to come out on the engine more with the crews and learning to fire more. So I've been doing it for a year, pretty much learning to fire and all that.
I don't think this is gonna. Let's get it all out there. Should I come the other side?
Yeah.
Sorry, Ben. Right. Is there a technique of
Yeah.
how, like, what?
So, get a little bit on, and then you want to swing, have your arm right back, and then just in one movement, up and over. Yeah, like that.
I got some of it out.
But rather than just fling it in, like, place it in like that.
I'm getting slightly better. What's that? Oh no, but I'm trying. You know what? I think you should have at least one try of this. You can see how hard it is. doing B&Q. Right, do you reckon there's a technique to this? Wait, but you can't just film like me. Guys, would you say that cleaning is the worst job to do?
It's not the worst
No,
job.
it's not the
No,
worst job.
no.
What is
quite
the worst
rewarding.
job?
Smoke boxes are quite bad.
Yeah, doing the
Smoke boxes are quite bad at the
Yeah.
end of the day. You do have the option to do them the next day, but that upsets a lot of people apparently when it's
Well, the
cooler
ash
and
bags
easier
are
to
right,
get.
yeah.
What is a smoke box?
It's the bit at the front of the engine where all the ash
All the
collects.
smoke goes and everything.
The smoke goes up the
Smoke
chimney,
and ash
but
all
it's where all
collects
the ash collects.
It's the one that you helped shovel out.
Oh, that one?
Yes,
Oh,
yeah.
yes. I remember now, that was a horrible job.
Yeah, skills that I've sort of picked up and learnt growing up in the railway, working with others, sort of leadership skills, taking control of situation as a driver, and coaching others and helping them progress.
What would you say are your favourite things about volunteering at Bluebell Railway?
Meeting different people from different backgrounds, different eras, older people, younger people, just know what they do. There's some old BR drivers here, so learning stories back from their past. And just, there's so many people up here, it's great learning, seeing what people do.
It's quite a nice thing to have on your CV because it shows that you're capable to contribute to something else and you're not worried about the money. One example that I was asked in an interview was, how do you cope under pressure? Give an example of when you've been put under pressure.
Oh, that's a classic one, isn't it?
You can go, well, when I was at the railway, we were running low on water and steam.
Yeah.
So you have to make a priority call, which is the most important? Is it the water or is it the steam?
Yeah.
And people always, and if you
So
use that
what
as
is more important?
But the thing is, water's more important because if you run out of steam, you've still got a fire, if you run out of water, then it becomes a ticking time bomb because obviously there's nothing to cool down the boiler internally. But then you can also use it as time planning, so you explain how you know that it's going to be uphill, so you start building the fire up, half a mile beforehand and stuff like that. It gives you examples which people go, actually, the guy that talked about steam trains?
I suppose it makes you more memorable, I suppose,
Yeah, exactly.
When you start off, because I honestly thought that 50% of the volunteers would be people who'd worked for British Railways.
Yeah.
It's probably about less than 5%.
Really? Do you get a lot of different ages?
Quite good because it's a big pool of different age groups that just everyone gets along. And there's not many places you see where you'll have like people in their 50s, people in their 20s, all just mixing together, getting along quite happily, as if it's like no difference in age at all.
As you already know, it's Ben's birthday today, and we've arranged for his family to be here, and we've also got him a cake. He doesn't know this.
I started first and then Colin followed me down here a couple of years later. And Ben joined.
Purely because Ben said to us one day, can you take me down to see Dad on the railway?
Yeah.
We brought him down, Kate, my wife and I brought him down. She took him off to see Tim and I just stood and talked to two of the guys on the ticket barrier. And from that, 8 years later, I'm still here.
So, Ben, have you had a lovely day?
Yeah, it's been alright.
What would you say to anyone thinking about volunteering?
Don't do it. No.
Just do it.
Yeah, do it. Give it a try. You've got nothing to lose to give it a try.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, you don't have to come again. But I think 9 times out of 10, you'll find that everybody who comes down here as a volunteer stays and enjoys it.
It's too cold. Yeah, definitely. There you go.
When I took retirement, because British Railways was very much a big sort of like a big family.
Yeah.
You were part of it, and people. When you talk now to people outside on other railways, the Bluebell Railways name. Oh, what do you do up there? Sort of thing. It's as though there's this spark that we've heard about the railway.
3 words to describe your volunteering experience at Bluebell Railway.
Fun, interesting, enjoyable.
Gosh, what a morning I've had helping to prepare the locomotive. I can confidently say that I don't think I'm very good at this. I'm not sure whether I'll be invited back. I'm nervous about driving one of these amazing locomotives in one of our later episodes. In the next episode, part 2, I'll be meeting some of the people that work in the yard and going aboard the famous Golden Arrow train to learn more about those beautiful Pullman cars.